Good morning, everybody. All right, so we got some gappers today. I think most of them are oil stocks, but we have, hold on, let me make sure this is muted so there's no echo. All right, there we go. Let me test that out. Okay, that sounds good. All right, so, yeah, we got some stocks gapping up today that are tradable on TradeNet and Tefs. First one is SBS here, gapping up from 904 to 1026. Looks decent. We have AMD moving some, playing off of the SPY's volatility. And so this is down some from 1883 to 1843. So down about 30 cents or so. Yeah, about, let me see. Yeah, about 40 cents. DBVT gapping up from about $6.99 to $7.96, so gapping up almost $1. We also have PBR. Looks okay, gapping up from 14.01 to 14.39. We have WATT, which is actually gapping down, but it had a really big move yesterday, and so I'm looking for this one to come back down some. Big gap up. It could easily continue to run, just playing it off of the daily chart, but it looks like it's going to pull back some, so we'll see what we get today. Also, we have EBR, AU, MU, TIVA, gapping up some. So we have some movement today. Doesn't look too bad. What's up, Pun, Doji, Missouri? Good morning. All right. So yeah, I was reading reports this morning talking about how the market hasn't been doing bad in 2018 or in 2019. The thing about it is that it's really only been 2 market days, and so it's hard to really tell. I mean, the SPY's down now. You know, it had a good market day the first day of the year. The first market day of the year on the 2nd yesterday. So we had a really nice bullish day yesterday. But now it's down in pre. We'll see what we get today. Hopefully, we get some opportunity. Just looking to see what pops up on the scanners here. CELG having a lot of movement here. I'll look this one up in a minute just to see what's going on with it, but pretty big move for CELG. Right now I'm kind of looking up to see if I can figure out why some of these other ones are moving, like SBS. Let's see what else we get. Okay, so let's look up why SBS is moving here. All right, so SBS stands for Compañía Siderúrgica Nacional, Company of Sanitation is what that means. It's a water and waste business. So these are all Brazilian stocks. We also have, what else? Let me see. I see a few other stocks that might be Brazilian stocks gapping up here. Let me get out of this. There we go. Petrobras. That Brazilian oil stock is a PBR, gapping up as well. Let's see what else we got. We also have DBVT. Let's see if that's a Brazilian stock as well. Maybe a Brazilian oil stock. This is just DBV Technologies. Key medical manufacturing and regulatory leadership changes announced ahead of anticipated Viaskin Peanut BLA resubmission. So yeah, DBVT announced today that they have following changes to their leadership team as the company strengthens its organizational competencies and the development of the Viaskin platform. So it sounds like they're having leadership like role changes. Dr. Hugh Sampson will assume the role of interim chief medical officer (CMO). He's going to be CSO and CMO and lead the scientific and medical teams at the company and report to Daniel Tassi, which is the chief executive officer of DBV Tech. Julie O'Neill has been engaged effective immediately to direct all product development, manufacturing, supply chain, quality assurance, and end-to-end process optimization at the company. And so they just had a few role changes for DBVT, and that's why it's up. So interesting to see where that one goes as well. But we have a few Brazilian stocks like PBR and SBS that are both gapping up. We also have EBR. Let's see if that's a Brazilian company as well. Looks like it. Yeah, this is a Brazilian company today. This is Centrias Elétricas Brazilian, so Central Brazilian Electric, I think is what that means. If these are Brazilian companies, the name must be in Portuguese. I'm pretty sure it's very similar to Spanish, but I know it's Portuguese in Brazil. All right, so it sounds like apparently Brazil voted in a business-friendly president, and he was sworn in yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday. Let's see when this was out. Yeah. No, this came out yesterday, so he was sworn in on the 1st. Interesting here. What's up, Doji Dude? What's up, man? What's up, Susan? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that EBR, PBR, and SBS, or maybe I think it was SBS, right? I think these are all Brazilian companies, and they're up just because they were up yesterday after after they had a business-friendly president elected in Brazil that was inducted yesterday or the day before. So I think those are making the Brazilian stocks push up, like SBS, PBR, and EBR. All three of those are up. One is an electric company, the other one's a sanitation, and I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I have no idea, AZ. I'm just like, to be completely honest, I'm completely I don't really know what's going on over there, and so if I'm being like honest with it, and so I'm just reading what the way the article put it, you know. And so I know three of the Brazilian stocks are up. I don't know if he's a good or bad dude. I have no idea. I'm not touching on that. Honestly, I hate politics in general, and so you know, I don't like any politician, and so if you know more about them, you can explain it if you like. But like I said, I'm kind of oblivious to, especially Brazilian politics. You know. What do I think about Cyborg's loss? I think it was crazy, man. I think it was crazy. I think Amanda Nunes is one of the best fighters in that in that female division. She might be the GOAT in that division. I don't know. I thought Cyborg was, but who knows now? Crazy good fight, really entertaining. Um, yeah, glad I watched it. Yeah, it's actually funny. I was talking about it yesterday, but hold on one second. It's actually pretty funny because I like beforehand I was trying to like hype it up to my wife. I was trying to like sell her on the fight. Like my wife was falling asleep. My daughter was down there watching it with us, and I was trying to hype the fight up to my wife so she would wake up and watch it. So I was trying to like pitch her the fight and like sell her the fight and talk about all the good things. Like, you really want to watch this fight. Cyborg's like undefeated, but Amanda Nunes knocked out Ronda. And so I was trying to pitch her and sell her on that fight. And she barely woke up to see the fight start. And then within like 5 seconds, her eyes were just wide open. And her and my daughter were just like, whoa, and we watched the whole fight and they were kind of like silent for it. And they were just kind of like, wow, it was a good fight. I'm glad they caught it. MBRX. I've seen MBRX before. I just needs more volume. I'm just not seeing much volume. I'm also looking at a few of these other ones popping up on my scanners. AG, but low volume as well. CDE, DFFN, BRZU, which looks alright, but that's an ETF, it looks like. ALQA, KTOV, gapping up, ALQA. These are cheaper stocks that I can typically trade, though. So let's look up CELG and see why it's moving. CELG had a cancer portfolio with, let me see, $74 million Celgene deal. So BMY, which is Bristol Myers Company, said on Thursday it would buy Celgene, which is CELG, for about $74 billion. Interesting here. And CELG is showing that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, big gap up here. Really big gap up. Really big percentage move from 65 to almost 90. Went all the way up to 98, came back down some, so we'll see where that one goes. But yeah, I'm also, like I said earlier, I'm watching WATT. This one's up a lot yesterday. And so, if you look at the daily chart, it looks okay. We'll see if it pulls back down, if it keeps going, where it goes. Going to be watching that one. AMD. Moving down some in pre-market. Same thing with MU. SPY doing the same. Down some. All right. Trading view, Richard, or trader view? Which one? VTVT for continuation. I mean, VTVT, it had a down day yesterday just about. Really, it was about break even, almost exactly break even. The range is big for VTVT, but, the volume has slowed since this big move up here. And, like, typically what happens with these moves is, like, you see here, like, it'll gap up big, kind of slowly fade back down. Everybody kind of forgets about it. And so, I think it'll probably come back down some, but I really don't know. The volume's kind of slowed down enough on it to where I don't know if I really want to trade VTVT. I don't think I can trade it regardless. How can a stock move up without any volume or news? I mean, which stock are you talking about? There's lots of different reasons. I mean, it has some volume, you know, and the lower the volume and the lower the float, the easier just a little bit of volume can make it move, right? And so it's like if you see a stock gap, but it didn't really move at all, but it gapped up a lot, it's just because the volume's low, probably the float's low, and so it's easier to make that stock push up or down. Most of the time it ends up coming right back to where it was just because the volume wasn't there on the move, and so it just depends. I have a electric cigarette, Casey Mac, MYOS. You're talking about right here? Yeah, this is just really low volume. And so like little orders can make this thing move. It looks like a low float stock as well. And so these are just tiny orders that make the stock get hit, and so it gaps up a little bit. Usually it comes right back down. It's kind of unpredictable. Like I said, like with the lower the volume, and if the float is low as well, then a small order can make the stock gap up some. Most of the time you're never going to be able to sell it at that price because like if you look here, the bid is 43 and the ask is 54, and so it's like it's in between the spread right now. But the lower the volume, the lower the float, the easier it is for even small orders to make it move some, and that's kind of what you're seeing with MYOS, I think. Right, exactly. I mean, it could go back down. It could go up. I mean, you never really know. The big thing is like volume's so low, it's just kind of moving with little orders. Right, manipulation too. I mean, that could easily happen as well. But even with manipulation, you're going to get volume. I mean, usually Pegasus, like if Facebook and Baba, I mean, you're definitely not the only one. They're both tech stocks. They're both two of the largest companies in the U.S. exchange. And so, they're naturally going to move together. I'm sure most people do. Although Facebook, big green day yesterday, Baba kind of had a break-even day. I mean, it was green, but it gave most of it back. They move kind of together. They're both tech stocks. But yeah, one thing I've always said in the market is that if the question is, am I the only one that does this in the market? The answer is probably no. Because I've always told people, like, any strategy you think you have, somebody else has thought of it first in the market. Right. That's what Brian said. And the volume's low, and so it goes to that price. All right, but I mean, the market doesn't look that bad. We have some movement here. Not really with that much U.S. stocks, but we got a few Brazilian stocks that are moving, like PBR, EBR, SBS, and I'll watch those. Let's see what we get with those. It's kind of tricky territory. Yeah, IZEA. Yeah, I mean IZEA is gapping up. It had low volume prior, so it's almost guaranteed not to be tradable for me, but it's gapping up some. But it's kind of dark and rainy this morning. Do I think Tesla will dip further? I mean, I think Tesla is kind of following the overall market too. And so it depends on if the market continues. No, I'm good two-way. I'm happy, man. I'm just drinking my coffee to wake up some. Yeah, IZEA low float there. So we'll see what we get with the market today. SPY is down, and some of the U.S. stocks are kind of following suit, like AMD, MU. What else? Apple probably. Let me see. Yeah, Apple down a lot. Microsoft down in pre-market. UGAZ. Yeah, oil is kind of moving. Some UGAZ, DGAZ probably moving a lot this morning. Teva as well. It's a pharmaceutical company though, but it's gapping up. WATT, like I said, get a look to see if that one comes down some. AU gapping up. Cron kind of break even. NBEV. I want to see a little bit more volume with NBEV. Kind of slowed in pre-market. So you're in at 140 at Dell's for IZEA. I mean, let's look at the daily chart here. It's right now it's about here at 124. Yeah, I mean, it kind of came down to that low at 80 cents, and then it's bouncing some. Right now, it's just about whether it holds over 1 and continues. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. What's up, Isaac? Will the market shake off Apple guidance? I mean, let's see. Who knows? Yeah, it looks like Apple's causing the stock to drop or the market to fall. As Apple has to slash iPhone prices to stay competitive. Missed sales target. 9-month low. Average stock price. iPhones weaken in China. They slashed their Q1 guidance. So yeah, that's probably what's causing the overall market to drop here. Apple, man. Yeah, Apple took a hit. You can see this monster drop here. And then it's probably what's causing the SPY to drop. I mean, the SPY's not down that much, but it's down for sure. It had a really good day yesterday. Like you can see, the SPY was really bullish yesterday. Big green day. It would be Apple's worst trading day since 2013 if these losses hold for Apple. Apple expects first quarter revenue to be as much as $9 billion lower than the previous projections. So yeah, we'll see if Apple rebounds. I'm more inclined to think it probably will some, but who knows if it's going to be today or not. Yeah, I'm not really opposed to that idea, Richard. I think, yeah, that might work. Who knows? I'm more inclined when you get a big drop to see rebounds. Usually what I kind of look for, but who knows if these sales hold. I mean, it's a legitimate catalyst for Apple. Praying down, which is very typical with these moves. I wish they would have had put options. I was looking for put options on praying yesterday. What application do I use to get news on a stock? VMOM. There's lots of different tools. Like I can use SnapTrade. There's a lot of free options here. Like you can use snaptrade.us and check out SnapTrade here. Typically I can go to like today's news only and it shows me like big news. I can go to high gainers right now, none. Tech, it shows me the big news from some of these top news and it shows me kind of the big news stories in the market. Or I can just go to Watchlist and then click the stocks on my watch list, like let's see, Cron. Go to that site and it shows me all the top news on that stock. Or you can use like Thinkorswim, which is what I like to use as well. I can just go to this and type in CRON and it shows me news, all the news on stocks, Apple. And so there's lots of different ways. What's up, John O? Is Budweiser actually investing into Tilray? Let's look that up. I'm not seeing anything about that. Let me know when that was. Adele's. Alright guys, we got about 7 minutes left until the open. Let's do it. I want to see where the overall market goes today, see if there's going to be any good opportunities for fades. Mitch and I were talking about it. Until the market kind of comes back to good voluminous market, we got to be a little careful with everything. We've been talking about increasing share size up to 500 or so starting Monday. And so really want to see the market kind of come back here, see some gaps in this market. What's up, Sid? KTOV. Yeah, I mean, KTOV looks good. A lot of volume there. We do get some volume coming in for KTOV. I know it's probably not tradable for me. Yeah, it's not tradable, unfortunately. Let me make sure Prayan isn't. No, Prayan, CCCL. No, none of those are tradable, unfortunately. But we do have SBS, gapping, DBVT. We're going to watch AMD and MU, PBR, EBR, AU, WATT, CGC, Cron, MU, TIVA. So we got some options here. Yeah, for sure, John O. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, we need volume in the market. Like, I'm not, it's kind of, I had a really good few months, and then I decided to increase share size, and my luck would have it that the market kind of slowed down after that. I think we're in a good downtrend for shorting, and then since I've increased, the market's kind of started to go a little sideways, maybe up some, and so it's not the best market for shorts. With that said, though, I probably should have taken my feet or cut back a little bit on my trading and wait for the market to be favorable for me, but it's kind of how it goes. In Budweiser and cannabis company Tilray announced Wednesday they are each investing $50 million into researching non-alcoholic drinks containing cannabis elements. I hope this happens. Like, I hope the alcohol stocks start investing in the cannabis stocks, because that would mean there's going to be less opponents to cannabis legalization. If the alcohol stocks start to do it, hopefully they start to invest and stop lobbying against it. Yeah, it's kind of how it goes, Adele's. There's certain times in the market where they're favorable for your strategy, and the last month really has not been favorable for it. And like I said, just kind of my luck that when I finally start to scale up, that's when the market isn't really as favorable for mine. But it's all about patience, Yeah, for sure, Adele's. Like, I'm disappointed in the country because cannabis obviously should be legal by now. I don't smoke cannabis. I live in Texas, but it should be legal. People say, well, why should we add another drug to the streets? And it's not about that. It's about having an even standard of stuff that's allowed. Like if alcohol is legal, an objectively more harmful substance, then cannabis should be legal. And I don't care what people say. It's about having an even standard across the whole list of drugs, and that's not something we have right now. Appreciate the sub, Rogue. Welcome, brother. Appreciate it. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like the debate on cannabis legalization, it's ridiculous to me if you're against it. The reason it's ridiculous, like people say it's a gateway drug, right? But the only reason it's actually a gateway drug is because you have to go buy it from a drug dealer, and drug dealers are eventually going to offer you more drugs, right? To where if they had legal dispensaries, you could go to a legal dispensary, they're not going to offer you other drugs, And so the only reason it's actually a gateway drug is because it's illegal. It's not like people try coffee and then just need to move up, and so they eventually try cocaine. That's not how it goes. People understand that. The only reason it's a gateway drug is because it's illegal. Yeah, ALQA is up as well. Of course, Isaac, you know me, man. You know. Yeah, we can look up ALQA, see what's going on with that one. Right, exactly, Greenhorn. It's like I said, people don't try coffee and say, I need more energy, I'm going to go do cocaine now. It's going to lead me to cocaine. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous argument. Like I said, the only reason it's a gateway drug, cannabis, is because you have to go get it from a drug dealer and they're going to offer you other drugs. That's what they do. And so that's it. If it was legal, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Let's see. We can look up ALQA and KTOV really quick. Market's opening up soon, so I gotta be quick here. Hold on. Special dividend plan for ALQA, making it go up. Fourth biggest gainer in pre-market. They intend to pay a special dividend in the range of 1 to 120 per share. It's going to be paid after paying costs related to ALQA's deal to be bought out and subsequent spinoff of one of its units. So higher dividends for ALQA, that's making it push up. We got about 20 seconds here, so I'm just going to get ready. I see what you're doing, Isaac. You're trying to sway me more towards talking about MMA, which is probably very easy to do. But the market's opening. I gotta focus. There's the bell. Alright, we'll see what we get today. Yeah, I guess I'm more inclined to say it's going to bounce. Look at AMD get hit here. Market's kind of hasn't really picked a direction yet. But look at AMD get hit here. WATT falling down as well. CGC falling. MU falling. TEVA running. SBS is just kind of quiet here. Market rebounding some more here. Teva starting to shoot up here. It's up about 20 cents. WATT, look at this drop on WATT here. Oh wait, let me get the intraday scanners up, sorry. Let me put those scanners up right now. There we go. WATT doesn't look that bad. The only problem is that the risk reward probably isn't that good. So from 53 up to 66 is about 13 cents. Reward level from 52 down to 53, I guess, down to 36. So it's not the best risk reward. It's better than 1-to-1, but not by much. $0.16 risk, about a 20-cent reward, so not by much. DBVT doesn't look terrible for a fade. Very spready though, don't really like it. It's a little late for it now too. Looking at PVR. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we get. All right, so we get a big drop on PBR and WATT here. This is kind of where I'm starting to look for a fade, right? If I get in PBR, I could set a risk level of about 14.40, which would be about 9 cents, and then a reward level down to 14.17. So that would be not terrible risk reward. What would that be? 14 cents. And so almost 2-to-1, not quite. WATT doesn't look bad, except the risk reward's not good. Maybe set risk reward of 53, giving me a 12-cent risk. Reward level down to 17. About 15-cent reward. Let me see. That doesn't look terrible for WATT now, actually. If my risk was here at 54, it's just spready right now. That's the only problem. It's a 4-cent spread that completely screws up my risk reward. The SPY's starting to drop some here, which is surprising. I thought some of it might rebound. WATT looks good from a risk reward standpoint with a risk of 55 or so, but the spread's too rough. It's 4 or 5 cents. It's just too much. The Brazilian stocks are starting to drop some. At least PBR is. DBVT is dropping as well. The SPY's dropping too. What's up, Houston? Like I said, PBR risk from 42 down to, or reward level from 42 down to 17. And so that is 26 cents. Down to 616. 26 cents reward level or risk level from 40 or 54 down to 42 would be 12 cents. So that's good. It's just got to clear out on the spread some. Spread's just a little too rough for WATT. I like it, but the spread's too bad. I like the risk level here, though. I think that's reasonable. Spread just never cleared out. It would have screwed up my risk reward, unfortunately, but it didn't look terrible. Yeah, PBR risk level of 27 or so. Maybe not 27. That's a little too tight. Let's see. 32 maybe for a 7-cent risk. Doesn't look bad. Look at MU tank. What did AMD end up doing? Big reversal on AMD. I'm telling you, WATT looked good, man. It's just like I said, the problem with it is that the spread was too rough, so it never really evened itself out. PBR looking a little bit better here. All right, buddy. I'll be there in a second, okay? All right. Looking for PBR to get a little bit higher here, up to 1424. I don't know if it's actually going to get there. It has that resistance above it. What's up, crypto? PBR getting back up there. Like I said, it's got to get up to 24 for the risk reward to be good. Right now it's got about a 15-cent reward. Still tight risk, but not as good as I would want it to. What, ADIL? Yeah, ADIL spiked. Or did you mean ABIL? Low volume. Alright, PBR starting to spike up here. Like I said, if it gets up to 25, I'll take about 150 shares or so. There's 22. It's got to get up 2 more cents. 23. Alright, I just took 150 shares of PBR here. Pretty tight risk. Want to see this level hold at 27, ideally. Yeah, give me 1 second, buddy. My son's yelling at me. His iPad's broken. All right, there's a squeeze up to 28. My risk is pretty tight on this one. And so, like I said, it's about 32 to 35 risk. It's a good drop. Oh, what happened to my 300 shares? Yeah, I talked a bitch about it. Like in this market, I'm taking it slow until Monday, just because it hasn't even been a full week of trading, and so I'm just taking it slow until Monday. Monday I'm gonna scale up a lot more, but with the market being how it's been, I just gotta be careful. All right, so there's a nice drop here for PBR. We'll see if it pulls back under here. All right, this 1420 level is going to be big, a big level to watch. See if we can break under that. Right, that's exactly right, Jono. I just need volume if I'm scaling up, and if the volume's low, I don't really want to risk it too much. Like I said, I want to see this 27 level really hold here. If you could see it from pre-market, this level here. My risk is still going to be at that 35 level, 33 level. But ideally, I want to see that 27 level hold. SPY's starting to pull back. Maybe PBR will come with it. Even though this is a Brazilian stock. There's 29. Like I said, 33 just about is my risk. I think it's a reasonable risk area. SPY coming back down here. There's 24s. All right, there's 21s. Doesn't look bad. Got to see that break under 1420 though. There's 20. SPY really cracking down here. It's testing that low of the day now on the SPY. Yeah, man, 70 grand. Good job, brother. That's a lot, man. Enjoy it. Congrats. All right, so like I said, it's testing that 1420 level. It's got to break under that for me to really see some downward pressure, hopefully. SPY's rebounding at the low of the day, so we might get something like that with PBR here. It's been following it closely. All right, there's 19s. AMD. Whoa, look at AMD, man. That is a big drop for sure. Crazy drop. All right, we're down to 14.18. Here's 14.16s. If it's down to about 14.10, I'll take a little bit off. May get a rebound here. The SPY's rebounding some. And there goes the rebound. Yeah, PBR has been pretty good so far. Followed through well for the most part. It's still a little early to tell, but doesn't look bad. Definitely liking the position I'm in now. There's 15s. SPY's kind of consolidating at the low of the day or the previous low of the day. We'll see what we get here. But yeah, look at AMD go, man. That one is just going down hard. Entry on PBR is about 24, 23, 24. Let me look exactly. 23. Yeah, man, AMD really took a hit, dude. Big hit for AMD. All right, there's 15s again. Here's the SPY testing the low of the day. Trying to play it off the SPY a little bit. Starting to drop. We'll see if we get some more drops. Like I said, if it gets down, there's 14s. Should get a bigger drop here. SPY just broke the low of the day. If it gets down to 13, I'll probably take profits. I don't want to be too strict with it. All right, so I just took 100 off. Just to bank a little bit of profits here. SPY's really getting hit though, breaking the low of the day. We'll see if this continues to fall here. There's 13s, 12s. 11s. 10s. Went down to 10s and 9s for a split second. Back up to 12s. Well, it's been a really nice fade thus far. See if it continues here. If it bounces, what it does. 10s. I'll take another half off there. That was the goal. And then I'll just let the rest work, really. There's 9s. See if we can really get this low of the day break and continue here. At this point, I'm pretty safe for the trade. No matter what, I'll be fine. Yeah, green is good. I'll take it. There's 6s. 5s. I'll let it test 14 here. If it gets over 14.10, I'll get out now. Yeah, I mean, the last 3 days, the last 3 or 4 trading days have been pretty good. I've had, I think, 3 green trades and 1 red trade in the last 3 or 4 trading days. So this has been pretty good. All right, so now the goal is to see if it continues to hold under 14.10 and starts to test the whole dollar of 14. There's 14.10. If I see 14.11, I'm out. I'm out. All right, so $20 gain, just about 17.50 gain. I'll take it. Stuck to my plan. Got a little bit of a rebound there. Maybe if it gets back up here, I'll consider adding back to it, but I'll take it. I appreciate the sub, James. Welcome, brother. Appreciate it. But man, look at AMD really get hit here. The good news is that I got that full 2-to-1 on it, which is what I wanted. Yeah, man, AMD. At this point, it's just about where your risk and reward is for AMD. I mean, I think you can reasonably set your risk here at 1820s, giving you, let's see, what is that? A 17-cent risk. And then your reward level can at least be down to 1760. So a big reward level, small risk for the most part. And AMD continues to crash. SPY continued to get hit as well. Alright, so the risk rewards changed a little bit for AMD now that the VWAP is dropped, but the rewards gotten bigger as well. So risk at this point is about 23 cents for AMD. Reward level would still be down to about 17.50, so about 50 cents. So better than 2-to-1 reward to risk for AMD. It's just about whether it gets back up there. It's really getting hit here. And I'm worried that if it finally does get back up there, that it might actually that the SPY might start to rebound by that point. So we'll see what we get. What's up, Draco? Welcome, brother. Yeah, what's up, man? I go long sometimes, Michael. Not very often. I'm more of a short bias trader for sure. What's up, John? Good morning, man. What's up, Dex? That's right, two-way. Only in Jeopardy format. Makes perfect sense. SBS? Yeah, I was kind of watching SBS before the open. Let's look at it. Man, yeah, SBS really getting hit here. Exactly, Michael. Yeah, so I'm looking for, I call it the VWAP fade. It's basically like you look for a big bearish move, a big bearish drop at the open, and then a pullback to the VWAP with a tight risk. With beneficial risk and reward is really what I'm looking for. So like with PBR, my risk was from 23 up to 33, so about 10 cents or so. My reward level was from 23 down to 404 where the previous low of the day was down here. So about 20-cent reward, 10-cent risk. So my reward is twice as big as my risk, and that's what I look for. And that's why I ended up getting in PBR. And I got the full reward, so that was good to see. But yeah, the confirmation I look for is just really I'm looking at the SPY to see what the SPY does. If the SPY looks weak, I like the move a little bit more. If the SPY's going up, the bigger possibility of a fake out with the fade. So I look for weak SPY, tight risk above, based off of most of the time pre-market levels. Like you can see, I got my risk here at 33 from this level and here, and so it confirmed it a few times. So that's kind of what I look for. You want to run around the pool table? Yeah. Okay, just don't touch the pool table while you run, okay?
No, I'm going to jump on the beanbag after.
You want to jump on the beanbag? Okay, yeah.
And then after I run around the pool table, I'm going to jump.
Okay.
On the beanbag.
Okay. I am not suing TradeNet or Thinkorswim. Oh, I'm using TradeNet and Thinkorswim. Man. I thought you were saying I was suing them. Yeah, I'm using Thinkorswim for charts and then TradeNet for my executing broker. Okay, so yeah, Michael. So yeah, I'm looking for a big bearish move at the open. Usually I want to see confirmation with a bearish trend in the SPY. And then I'm looking for a tight risk, right? So my entry on this one was 23. My risk was 33, so 10 cents, right? And I'm basing that off of pre-market levels here and here. So a 10-cent risk, and then my reward level is the previous low of the day, so it'd be down here at 14.05, so just about a 20-cent reward, maybe a little bit less, and so that gives me a 2-to-1 reward to risk. My reward is twice as big as my risk, and if that's the case, I'll take it, and so that's kind of why I took PBR here. I call it a VWAP fade, just a big bearish trend, pull back to the VWAP, and then a rejection back down, confirming that intraday downtrend. What's up, Fetty? Long time no see, brother. Oh, my son, Lauren. Yeah, he's 4. He's a good kid. He wanted to run around the pool table and then jump on the beanbag chair. And so now he is, in fact, doing that. Thanks for the sub, Vig. Appreciate it. Nice. Yeah, man. I have a 9-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. They're so different. My son is chaos. My daughter was like the nicest kid ever. She was like super sweet and kind. My son, man, he is just Rambo, you know. He's a good kid, though. Yeah, he's running. He wasn't lying. No, he's running around the pool table. And then,
I'm not.
Oh, you're not anymore? What are you doing now?
I'm just sitting on the beanbag.
You're sitting on the beanbag? Okay.
I mean, in between the beanbag.
Come here, buddy. Man, you are fast. What you doing? You got a Batman shirt on? Who's your favorite superhero?
Sonic.
Sonic?
Yeah.
I guess he's a superhero.
Well, I'm just taking the shirt off. I want to wear my Sonic shirt.
You want to wear your Sonic shirt?
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait until I'm done with this for me to get it, okay? Yeah, the SPY is getting hit, Isaac. For sure. I mean, I'm curious to see what's going on with it. It just rebounded and retraced some of that big down candle. But definitely interesting here. SPY's getting hit. I mean, SPY had a good day the other day. CGC's right around the VWAP. I think some of these other cannabis plays might be too. Cron isn't. CGC is, though. CGC is right around the VWAP here. So let's look. Risk could reasonably set at 75. giving you a 15-cent risk. Me? I am 30 years old, Pablo. Hey, come here. Come here. Alright, I guess you don't want your Sonic shirt in a second. Alright, whatever, buddy. Look, CGC would have been a nice fade. Watch, he knows math. Hey, Jack, you want to show them math? Come here. You got to say it loud, though. What's 2 plus 3?
5.
What is 4 plus 3? What's 4 plus 3?
7.
What is 5 plus 4?
9.
What is 3 plus 3 in Spanish?
6.
Say it louder.
6.
Yeah, that's right. What about 4 plus 2 in Spanish? What is it? Say it loud. 4 plus 2 in Spanish? You don't want to say it? Alright, what about 4 plus 3 in Spanish? We'll skip that one.
I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it anymore? Alright, that's fine. You can go play.
I just want my Sonic shirt.
I'll get your Sonic shirt once I'm finished with this, bud. I
I
know.
want my Sonic shirt.
I know. Alright. Yeah, I'll get your Sonic shirt in a second. Alright, go play. CGC had a nice little fade here off of 2863. So a nice little fade. The risk could have been at 76 or so a tight risk. So Michael, usually it revolves around, like, I look for like an overextended gap. All right, buddy. Hey, no, do not do that. No, sir, you don't do that. All right. Hey, I'll get you your Sonic shirt in a second.
I want to do it right now.
I know, but I'm working right now. You see all this stuff? You want to see how many people are watching me? Look, I have 207 people watching me. That's a big number, huh? My son is literally sitting here with his arms crossed, pouting at me because I won't get him a Sonic shirt. Hey, I'll get it in a second, bud. You gotta let me do this. Yeah, so I look for overextended on the upside, Michael. Sorry, my son's throwing a fit here because he can't wear Sonic right now. So yeah, I look for a big overextended gap up, right? Is what I usually look for, like PBR. Hey, cut it out, or you're gonna go to timeout. Do it again, you're gonna go to timeout. I'll put you in timeout too. Do it again, you're gonna go to timeout. No, sir. Yeah, so I look for an overextended. I look for appreciate it, Mel Keys. Hey, appreciate the $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate it. That's awesome, brother. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man, he's a good kid. He's 4. He's 4 years old, so I think he's doing pretty well with math for a 4-year-old. It really clicks for him, so he'll be a trader in no time for sure. But yeah, so I look for an overextended bullish move, like an overextended gap up, and that's all relative. You know, sometimes I'm looking for a big move the previous day and a big move in pre-market. So you can see like PBR had a big move yesterday and then a big gap up in pre-market. And then I would just look for a big drop here. Like it has to be a big drop because that makes my reward bigger. Like the bigger this drop here, if I'm basing my reward target off of the previous low of the day, the bigger my reward is. So a bigger drop means bigger reward. And then I just use pre-market levels and just map them out to determine my risk. I know I've never traded futures. Never trade futures. I roughly trade options sometimes. You know, sometimes I trade options. Still, I'm not as well versed in options as I am with stocks. All right, I'm gonna go get my son his Sonic shirt, so I'll be right back. Come on, buddy. Let's go. All right, guys. Ugh. All right, I'm back. Yeah, PBR might not have been a bad ad up here. It never quite got to the VWAP, but it didn't look terrible. AMD is just about when is it actually going to push up here. What's up, Abdul? What's up, brother? My son is literally banging around upstairs, mad because I couldn't find a Sonic shirt. Well, my son's off of school, so sorry, guys. Spy really getting hit though today. You guys can probably hear my son, I'm guessing, screaming because I couldn't find a Sonic shirt. CGC completely rebounding here. Now, AMD is back up to 83. But now the risk reward isn't as good for AMD, right? I mean, you could use these pre-market levels, but it's just not as good. Risk would have to be at 1808, giving you a 28-cent risk. Reward would have to be down to 36 or so. Not really 2 to 1. Yeah, he's throwing a fit. No Sonic shirt. Now it's the end of the world. Here, let me get my wife up to help him with this. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. My wife is on it, trying to find my son his Sonic shirt. Excuse me. Appreciate it, Isaac. Yeah, for sure, crypto. Yeah, man. I mean, he's just, it's kids they'll be into certain things, right? Like he went from superheroes and he still loves superheroes, but now the big thing is like Sonic. I loved Sonic as a kid. I grew up in the 90s. And so I loved Sonic as a kid. And so I kind of turned him on to Sonic. And now he's like, he loves Sonic. Problem is, he only has one Sonic shirt and a bunch of superhero shirts. And so appreciate the sub, Gabriel. But yeah, appreciate that, Perez, Melquise Perez. I really appreciate that, man. Awesome $10 donation, brother. So I really appreciate that. Sorry, Michael. Yeah, my son's throwing a fit. Yeah, I mean, there's certain stocks that go against the SPY. I guess a more accurate way to put it was that if the stock looks to be following the SPY, I use the SPY for direction. Right, so like if you look at PBR, if I put these two on top of each other, very similar moves for PBR and the SPY. Here's PBR, down move, pull back up, down move. Here's the SPY, down move, pull back up, down move. And so they're following each other pretty closely, not 100%, but pretty closely here. And so with that, I kind of use, if it seems to be following the SPY, I'll use it a little bit for direction as confirmation. But yeah, I see a few people asking me what broker I use. I'm using TradeNet. If anybody's interested in checking out TradeNet, I'll post the link. It gets you 10% off the intro package. 10% off all packages, I think. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways I keep the stream always free, though. So if you're interested in using TradeNet, you can go through my link, and I appreciate any support. The way TradeNet really works is that it's kind of like a prop firm. You pay for a package. It's not a deposit. You're actually paying for the package, and with that, they give you a certain amount of buying power and a certain max loss. Like with the intro account, you get 14K in buying power with a $700 max loss. And then there's a profit split on any profits over a certain amount. And so I just posted the link if anybody wants to check them out. Yeah, man. Start the Sonic shirt fund for sure. What's up, Levi? What's up, brother? Long time no see for you as well. Yeah, no broker has all stocks tradable. Like you stock trade, I've used a lot of different brokers. Like I've used, here's the list of brokers I've used. I've used SureTrader, Thinkorswim, and TD Ameritrade. TradeNet, obviously, UStockTrade, Robinhood, Webull, and there's one more I'm forgetting. But I've used all of those brokers, right? And almost all of them are restricted on certain stocks. Like UStockTrade will have limited liquidity, basically restricting certain stocks. TradeNet obviously doesn't have certain stocks. SureTrader restricts certain stocks. And so every broker does it. It's just about what works for you. Like TradeNet does really well with like stocks from like $7 to $30 or any stock over $7 really, and anything that's tradable is shortable there, so it typically works out for me. But it may not work out for you. Like penny stocks aren't available much to trade on TradeNet. Most penny stocks you can't trade, and so you do want to understand that, but they all have their pros and cons for sure. Yeah, Michael. So there's the opposite strategy of the fade, right? It's called the VWAP bounce. If you look at AMD, it's the same thing basically, where you get a big bullish move, pull back to the VWAP here, and then a follow through back up. And again, like if you look at AMD, you can use the SPY as confirmation. Yesterday, SPY doing something similar, traded off of the VWAP, tight risk down here, big reward up here. So yeah, go check out the site. We have all the strategies up at the site. Here, I'll put it up. Yeah, we have like a strategy section on the site. We have like a broker review section where we review certain brokers. SPY's starting to pull back some here. But yeah, the only reason I don't like AMD now is just because like risk. I mean, I guess you could use 18 the whole dollar as your risk right here, but it's still not good risk reward. I mean, risk would be 23 cents, reward would be about 23 cents, or about what is risk? 33 cents. Reward would be about 33 cents. So it's 1-to-1 at best for AMD. SBS pulling up here. Still not great risk reward. Maybe 10 for a 19-cent risk. So that's not bad. From 50 to 81. So 31-cent risk. So 19 risk versus 31-cent reward. Better than 1-to-1, but not quite 2-to-1 for SBS. PBR is actually climbing back to the VWAP here. Now it's just about whether you want to take it. I do like the very obvious risk level right about here at 21 or so. And so it gives you about a 6-cent risk, or at least a 10-cent reward or so, 16-cent reward. What did WATT end up doing? Crashing down and then rebounding some. Mitch is at work today. Michael, he'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, he's usually here on he's usually here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. He works Wednesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, there you go, Isaac. Appreciate it, brother. With options, I'm kind of mixed with options. Like I said, my strategy with options is really just to look for overextended moves and then buy put options on them, hold them for 2 weeks to a month to see if they'll retrace that hyped up gain that they made. So it's kind of so-so. It's kind of mixed. What's up, Sultan? Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about options, like the good thing about options, right, is like when you get a move, like let me find some examples here. I think QD is one. All right, so yeah, like if you look at QD here, right, the beautiful thing about options is like a lot of times these stocks aren't going to be shortable. And even if you do short them after a big overextended gap like this, a lot of the time, you still have a big risk because they could easily continue to run. And so the good thing about options is like for a stock like QD here that just gaps up in a really overextended, hyped up way and then moves, you could buy a put option on this and just let it come back down, which it does a lot of the time. Like most of the time when a stock gaps up like this, most of the time I would say they come back down. And so you could just kind of ride it back down, the following few weeks and just take advantage of it. Which happens a lot, and that's kind of my option strategy. Is it gives me a very set risk. Like the only thing I can lose is what I pay for the option, and so even if this thing goes crazy and goes supernova, I'm still protected in it. But if it comes back down like they do most of the time, I can still profit from it and just hold it and sell my option from it. So like that's why I like options, is that your risk is very set. It's very defined. It's a concrete risk as opposed to like trading securities where you don't know. Your risk is unlimited if you're swing trading to a certain extent. Right, hey, a gain's a gain, Sultan. Nice work, brother. What did Apple end up doing, though? Yeah, Apple's just sideways. Very choppy. Hey, Lauren, hey, I really appreciate it. Another $10 donation. Hey, that's awesome, Lauren. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I will, for sure. But I really appreciate it. That's great. Appreciate the support. Yeah, you guys know, like, I do the stream for free. I just try to, I'll probably never end up charging for this stream. We do charge for some stuff, but the YouTube stream's always going to be free, so it's really cool to see support, and really appreciate it, Lauren. That's awesome. Yeah, we appreciate the support, Lauren, so that's awesome. Yeah, so somebody asked, is binary options is the same as options? No, binary options is, I wouldn't say they're a scam. I guess it's possible to be profitable, but I stay away from binary options. I think most of the time they're scams. I think that it's I think that the odds are against you with binary options. So like for instance, like I think you can be profitable, but you have to be a really good trader. And I think that like for instance, like if you win, you get what, like 80%, and if you lose 100%. And so the odds are stacked against you, and it's kind of like gambling. It's kind of like roulette, I would say. to where like the odds are almost even, but they keep like there's like a little bit more percentage. So it's either like you get like 80 or 90% of what you bet with binary options, and they keep 100. And so the odds are just stacked against you. I don't think it's worth it. It's the closest thing to gambling and trading, I think, is binary options. And you'll get people that say, like, I get people that comment on my videos all the time, like, I really found the greatest teacher. He helped me make $5 million in a week. And, you know, with his binary option trading strategy, here is his email. And they basically talk to themselves. Like, it's a bunch of spammers that sit there and talk to themselves in the comments of my videos. And I always delete them. But they're pushing binary options, trying to take advantage of gullible traders to talk them into, you know, paying them for some ridiculous thing. And so you just got to be careful in the trading world. There's a lot of charlatans and fakes out here. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Hey, I really appreciate all the support today, guys. Yeah, I think I do have UXIN, Levi. I mean, I don't like it. Low volume. Plus, I think after a big red day yesterday, I think the momentum may be on the upside for it, but we'll see. I mean, it's kind of in between a strategy. It's not really a fade because there wasn't that big downward push right at the open. First, it pushed up a little bit, then it dropped below the VWAP, and now it's kind of back to the VWAP, and so I just don't trust it as much. Yeah, no stress, Asher. We appreciate the support, man. Right, for sure. Am I selling my put option after price for that stock is really going down? What do you mean by that, Rustlin? Hey, appreciate it from Hawaii, huh? What's up, Curious George? Yeah, appreciate the support, guys. So a little bit of a VWAP rejection on KTOV here. We actually went over these in class last night, where it's like you get if you could set a tight risk in this case, you know, you want like a very tight risk of like 26 maybe, and then set your reward level down here at 14. So big reward, small risk. But you can see the rejection here. Already reached the reward target too, right about here. Risk would have been here, so yeah, like the VWAP projection, you got a super tight risk, and the accuracy is going to be lower. So your risk is like here for like 4 cents. Your reward, it would be down here at that previous low of the day for like 8 cents, so 2 to 1. Yeah, for sure, Sid. Sid says how to spot a charlatan stock guru is simple. Watch their YouTube ads. If they are waving cash in the vid, it's literally baiting you to sign up. Yeah, for sure. Like, I see a lot of them actually post stuff on Facebook like, is it possible to make $5 million in a week with a small account day trading? Absolutely. You know? And it's like, yeah, it's possible. Just like winning the lottery is possible. You know? It's highly unlikely that you're going to do anything like that. You know, trading's a long game. It really is. It takes a long time to learn. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and I think a lot of the gurus kind of advertise it as get-rich-quick schemes, and it's not. You know, it's like earning a degree in something. But you'll be set with it for the rest of your life if you can learn to do it well, but it takes years generally. And there's always outliers. Like some people are going to do well right off the bat, but it's not common at all. What am I gonna do? With what option, Rustlin? It depends on the stock. The only option I'm holding right now is WATT. Bought it the other day. And I mean, it ended up pushing up. It's a $5 option, but I still have like a month with it. And so, it's a $5 option. It's got to get down here, which is maybe, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if it breaks down there, it'll be big money. It was a cheap option. And so that's the only one I'm holding right now. What do I think about Tim Sykes? I mean, I think he puts some good free content. I think Tim Sykes does really well with trading off of extension. Like one of Tim Sykes' patterns that he always talks about is the morning panic, and it's essentially looking for like a big down move and then buying the rebound. And I think that is he's taking advantage of like overextension on the downside, like when the stock drops too much, taking advantage of like the panic bounce up. And so I understand that strategy. I think all the big time like educators have good free content. Would I pay for their course? I mean, probably not, but it's all relative. If you have the money for it, I'm not gonna hate on you for it. I just don't know whether their courses are worth it because I've never taken them. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what it is, Sid. I appreciate it, Michael. Yeah, brother. That's what we try to do, man. I mean, we just try to be transparent. A lot of people in the trading world, they're just not transparent, and it's common. But if they put out good content, I'm not hating on them. I'm very passive as a YouTuber. Like, I'm not trying to attack a bunch of people or anything. Apple went through a major breakdown. I guess start of wave C. Should we start writing higher calls or buying puts? Either way. I mean, I don't know, brother. Like, listen, man. I don't know that much about options. I have my little option strategy that works. I've had mixed results with it, but it works more than it doesn't, I would say. But I don't want to give the wrong advice with options, and so I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. So I'm just trying to put it out there. Like, I don't know that much about options. Like, I definitely know more about stocks than options. All right, two-way. Have a good day, brother. You'll bounce back tomorrow, man. You've been doing really well, so don't stress today, man. You're doing well. Oh yeah, no stress. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just trying to be honest with people. Like I don't want to give people the wrong advice for options, and so I'm very selective with what I try to say about them. Like, I can teach people the strategy I use, but I've only been trading options for about 6 months, really, and so I don't want to tell people to do something that doesn't work for them. You know what I mean? PBR looks kind of interesting here. I mean, it's just about whether it continues to fade back down, but it had one fade and then I don't know if I'd consider these fades. It never quite got up there, but it's holding under the VWAP, and the SPY's continuing to drop as confirmation. So oh yeah, for sure. Like I don't know much about selling options, especially. Uh, Mitch tends to prefer selling options. I've never sold options before, so I don't know. You know. AMD, man, never really getting up there. Just continuing to get hit. Really bad red day for AMD. There it goes. Down to 1720 here. Yeah, I'm hoping so as well, John. That's why I said, like, I'm in the process of scaling up. I'm just trying to be careful with trading, with how low the volume has been in the overall market. You know, we haven't been getting that many big gaps lately, and that's kind of what the strategy I use revolves around, is looking for overextended gap ups. And so we haven't been getting much of those. And so, you know, I'm just trying to take it slow until we see some more volume in the market, and hopefully we get some next week. Yeah, sure. So, I mean, what I'm doing, Sud, is I'm day trading, right? So I'm buying and selling or shorting and covering pretty quickly here. Like, the only trade I've gotten into was PBR today, and I shorted it right around the VWAP. And the VWAP fade strategy I use is just looking for a drop, pull back to the VWAP. This is where I get in short with the tight risk above using pre-market levels, and then I'm trying to take profits around the low of the day. And so that's kind of what I did with this trade. And so, yeah, I'm day trading, so I'm holding it really quickly. I think I only held this one for... I got in at about 40, got out at about 54. And so I only held this one for about 14 minutes or so. And so I'm mostly a short bias trader, so I'm looking to take advantage of shorting stocks. And so that's what I did with PBRs. I shorted it around the VWAP, covered at the previous low of the day here, which would be right here. And then once it broke 1410, I got out there. Let me clear this. But man, AMD really getting hit here. Yeah, man. AMD dropping, Apple looking weak, SPY looking weak. A lot of fear in this market right now, honestly. A lot of apprehension, I would say, and fear with the overall market. In the bear market, it's good to write call options, I think, just to get premium for that, and hopefully price for underlying stock will go down, so you don't need to worry that somebody will execute them. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've thought about selling options. I think this is the thing, right? With selling options, you know, you're gonna, most of the time you're gonna make money with them. It's just about the times that you don't, the time that the option goes against you, you kind of have a bigger risk, right? And so a lot of times what happens with people selling options is that they sell options, they do okay until that one or two options that goes against them are executed, and it really kind of takes out any gains that they made, right? And so I prefer to buy options because the risk is limited, to where if you sell options, you know, you kind of have unlimited risk to a certain extent, as unlikely as it may be that they actually get executed. And so still got to learn some more about selling options. Don't know that much about it, and so it's something that I'll have to learn. Yeah, Apple had worse, or Apple canceled their guidance. What's my average gain per trade? In cents, it's usually like 15, 20 cents or so. So Michael, I'm in the stage of like scaling up. I'm in the stage of like scaling up. So I got this student account, and you know, I had a few months where I did really well. I had like really high accuracy. My accuracy was like 80% or so. And so, I'm typically like a low volume trader. Like I use small sizing, which I think most traders should do until they show consistent profits. And so I showed consistent profits for a while with small sizing. And at this point, I'm trying to scale up. The market hasn't been as beneficial for me scaling up, but it's kind of my fault. I probably should have taken my foot off the gas a little bit. And so I'm kind of in this process of scaling up. I usually use like 100 shares, 1 to 200 shares. I'm in the process of trying to get up to 3 and 400 shares is what I'm trying to do at this point. And it's going to be a transitional process. Like Mitch always refers to it as growing pains. That it's good that I had to scale up. It means that I showed consistent profits enough that it was time to scale up. But it's going to be a transitional period where I kind of have to get used to the bigger sizing, and I'm not quite used to it yet. And so, like today, I use small sizing just because the volume's been low in the overall market. And so next week, if the volume's good, I'll move up to 400 or 500 shares, take some bigger gains, is what I'm kind of shooting for now. What program are you using? Is SureTrader still a viable platform? Just asking because I haven't been out of the game for about 6 months. Okay, so I'm using TradeNet, which is a little bit different. TradeNet, it's got a little bit different rules to it. Like TradeNet, you pay for a package. You pay for a package, and with that, you get a certain amount of buying power. Like with TradeNet, the broker I'm using, if the intro package is 500, and with that, you get 14,000 in buying power with a $700 max loss. And so, like, if you go under 13,300, your $700 max loss is hit, and they close your account down. And then any profits over that 14K, there's a 70-30 split. And so that's kind of what TradeNet is about. I mean, the commissions are cheaper, much cheaper than SureTrader on TradeNet. Like, commissions on TradeNet are 0.0075 cents per share, and there's a 150 per trade minimum. So basically, like, if you're using less than 300 shares, a full round trip on TradeNet is going to be like $3 or $4 for a complete round trip. So in and out completely is $3 or $4. And so really cheap commissions is why I like using TradeNet. As you get up there in sizing, commissions are going to be more expensive. Like I think 1,000 shares commission per trade is like $6, so like $12 per round trip. And so it all depends on the sizing. But TradeNet's good for smaller sizing. Like if you're using less than 600 shares, commissions are going to be pretty cheap. And so that's why I like using them. Plus, anything that's actually tradable is shortable. The biggest flaw with TradeNet, I think, is that some stocks aren't tradable. Like specifically penny stocks, a lot of the time you can't trade those. And so if you're a penny stock trader, TradeNet's probably not for you. But like any stock over $7, most of the time is tradable. Sometimes they're not, but it depends on volume. But it's good for me because I like to short, and my sweet spot is like $7 to $30 in price. And so if it's tradable, I could short it. So lots of shorts. So that's kind of why I use them. Yeah, for real. Sud said, by the time people come back from the holidays and see this, it will be time to go back to the holiday. Yeah, for sure. People are going to be kind of gloomy with this market. So it's over 14K, Jason, on TradeNet is 70-30 split. If it's under that, then there's no profit split. They don't take it out. If you haven't brought the account up to green yet, then there's no profit split. But over 14K for the intro package is 70-30. I appreciate it, Andy. Can I explain shorting a stock? Yeah, and if anybody wants to use TradeNet, here's the link. I could post the link if y'all want to check it out. Like I said, I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways I keep the stream free. At the same time, though, I still try to be pretty honest about it. So yeah, like I said, I try to be honest with people about it. Hey, cut it out, bud. So yeah, like I said, biggest flaw with TradeNet is easily that certain penny stocks, most penny stocks I would say are not tradable. Can you explain shorting a stock? I hear it quite a bit, but never actually did it. Shorting a stock is, in a nutshell, shorting a stock is just profiting from the stock going down. So like with a long trade, buying a stock, you profit if the stock goes up. Shorting a stock, you profit if the stock goes down. So you want the stock to go down. a little bit more detailed explanation of shorting is, okay, so shorting a stock, it's hard to explain. There's a way to explain this. So shorting a stock is like borrowing the stock, right? So they have long-term investors that don't really care about intraday moves because they're holding it for long-term. And so they'll loan you a stock. So it's the equivalent of like borrowing a $1 bag of sugar from your neighbor. Like if you borrowed a $1 bag of sugar from your neighbor and waited for the price of sugar to go down to 50 cents. Oh no, okay, so bad explanation. So shorting a stock is like buying or borrowing a $1 bag of sugar from your neighbor and then selling it to somebody else for $1. Waiting for the price, then you wait for the price of sugar to go down to 50 cents, buy it back for 50 cents, and then return it to your neighbor, essentially profiting that 50 cents. Like that's what shorting is. So again, it's like borrowing a $1 bag of sugar from your neighbor, selling it, taking the dollar, waiting for the price of sugar to drop to 50 cents, buying a bag of sugar for 50 cents, and then returning it to your neighbor, keeping 50 cents. All right, so it's kind of confusing, but that's essentially what shorting is in stocks. You're borrowing shares from somebody, waiting for the price to go down, or selling it, taking the money, waiting for the price to go down, buying it back and returning it and keeping the difference. I'm having a meltdown. I know, man. I'm having a meltdown today. No, I didn't get in on AMD, John. Is because it never pulled back to the VWAP. It just never gave me the entry. So yeah, I know my example might have been a little confusing. Basically, all you need to know about shorting is that sometimes you have to locate shares to borrow, and you profit if the stock goes down. AEYE popping up on the skater here. Not really any movement. HSGX, cheap stock. Big move, though, for HSGX. But yeah, AMD just never pulled back to the VWAP. Yeah, I mean it's similar curious, but like the thing you want to understand is just like it's the opposite of going long, right? It's the opposite of buying a stock, right? So it's like if I short a stock, I profit each cent that stock drops, I profit, and so it's just the opposite. Like it's just profiting from a stock going down. Shorting, it all just depends on your broker. You know, certain brokers allow more shorts. Like in a conventional broker, in order to be able to short, you have to have a margin account most of the time. Like especially in a U.S. broker, like with Thinkorswim, if I was trading on Thinkorswim, I would have to have at least $2,000 and then try to get approved for a margin account before I can short. Sure, SA, what's up, man? Right. I mean, it sounds more complicated with my explanation than it really is. Like to short, all I have to do is click short, and then it gets me in that position. And when the stock drops, I profit, and then I click buy to cover it because I'm buying the shares back. explain ETB, HTB, and NTB while you're at it. ETB, easy to borrow, right? HTB, hard to borrow. NTB, none to borrow. So there's going to be certain stocks when you're shorting that are easier to borrow than others. Usually it depends on risk profile. HTB stands for hard to borrow, meaning it's not easy to find shares to short because you have to borrow those shares from long-term investors and sometimes they don't have them. Easy to borrow means that it's easy to find shares to borrow to short. And NTB is basically none to borrow, I guess. I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. So let's say the price of an underlying stock is $100 and I expect it to go to 102. Which option will I choose? You would buy a call option on that one, SA. If you want the stock to go up, it's a call option. If you want the stock to go down, it's a put option, so like a short option. I typically buy put options because I want the stock to go down. If you want the stock to go up, it would be a call option. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of really why I like using TradeNet is because with CFD trading, I don't have to worry about borrowing shares. What's my opinion on the Dow? I'm assuming the Dow, what's the Dow? DJI? Dow Jones, what is it? DJ. What's the symbol for Dow Jones? It's DJ something. DGIA? Your DJIA? No. Somebody help me out. I'm assuming it's meaning DGIA. No, I put that. It didn't work. I thought it was that. I'm assuming it's doing the same thing as the SPY is, which is getting hit today. SPY's right around 244. DIA. Yeah, there it is. It's DIA. Yeah, it's doing the same thing as the SPY. Richard was right. It's doing the same thing as the SPY here. Like, you can look at the DIA. Dow Jones. Dow Industrial Average. Just doing the same thing that the SPY did. Right. I mean, that's probably a better explanation than me, AZ. I use TradeNet Ghana, which is here on the left. I mean, I've been trading for like 2 years. And so, I mean, I learned from a lot of different places. YouTube, a lot of free content on YouTube. Not even specifically in my channel, but there's a lot of good free content on YouTube that you can learn from. Trading is really just about learning to find your own niche in it, find out what works well, back test the strategies. You know, I back test the strategies I use and test them, and you know, that way I know the accuracy rate, the favorable conditions, and such. But there's a lot of good free information on YouTube. Most of the stuff people teach in classes is available for free online. SPY starting to rebound here. We should see AMD. The only problem is like the risk reward is terrible for AMD. You know, risk would have to be way up here at 18 or so. And so your risk is, what is that? 37 cents. Reward is less than that. I am 30 years old, SA. DJI, Jado. Is there another one? No, it's DIA is what the Dow Jones is. Unless this is a ETF of the Dow Jones, but isn't the Dow Jones an ETF in the first place? Pretty sure it's DIA. I thought it was a little bit more expensive though. Yes, I am. Awesome. A nicotine one. Oh, it's different on different platforms. Alright, guys. Well, I'm probably done for the day. I don't know if I'm going to get back in anything else. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get back in anything else. Kind of looking at PPR. Risk of 14, 18 doesn't look terrible here. Reward level down here. Risk of this. Reward down here. Doesn't look bad. Risk. Reward. How much of my own capital am I trading with? 2,700. Do I trade ETFs like inverse ones, but still learning? Yeah. I mean, it depends on how volatile the SPY is, right? So like a lot of times I'll trade UVXY and TVIX, which do the opposite of what the SPY does. And so like when a big red day on the SPY comes, you can see TVIX just kind of spiking up here. It all just depends though. Like a lot of times once these hit, you'll get some reversals on the SPY, like when the SPY starts to test the close. It's kind of a strategy I've been looking at recently with ETFs. Like looking for big resistance or support on the chart and then look for the counter direction on the ETF. So like an example would be here at 248. What time is this? 8:42. You could look for a run up at 8:42. On these. Let's see if we got it. Yeah, we get a bounce right at 8:42 here. And so you kind of look for big support or resistance on the SPY and then take the counter direction on the ETF here. That's kind of what I look for with those. Still back testing it, but it looks viable. How much buying power do I actually use? I mean, what did I get in today? Not much, like, I don't know. A few thousand. Just depends. I'm scaling up next week, so I'll be using more of my buying power. $9 million, Richard? Yeah, man, I'd fight Floyd for $9 mil. You know, I'd get beat up, but I'd fight him for $9 mil. I'd almost fight anybody for $9 million. I mean, let's be real here. But yeah, Nunes took out Cyborg. Crazy. Scaling up just means increasing sizing. Like I'm working on increasing my size. You know, I was at like 150, 200 shares on average. Now I'm trying to scale up to 400 to 500. It's a process, but that's kind of the goal now. Mitch and I have a goal of by the end of 2019 to get up to 2,000 shares. So we'll see if we get that. But yeah, with that said, it is 11 o'clock market time. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. Shout out to Trade Ideas for being cool enough to let me stream their scans every day. If you're interested in checking out a stock scanner, you can check out Trade Ideas. These are Trade Ideas scans here. They make my mornings much easier. And so if you want to check out Trade Ideas, you can go through the link I just posted. Really cool company. go check them out. Really awesome scans, really customizable. Like I said, makes my morning really, really easy and my trading day really easy. So go check out Trade Ideas. I just posted the link. Also, like I said, if anybody wants to use TradeNet, which is the broker I use, I'll post the link for there as well. It gets you 10% off, and so instead of $500 for the intro package, you pay $450, and I'll post that link here as well. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and yeah, another green day. Out of the last 4 days, I've had 1 losing day, 3 green, so not bad. Hopefully we get some more volume in the market next week, and we'll see Mitch here tomorrow. So good luck for the rest of the day, guys. Oh, no, Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg, Michael. Yeah, man, it was a crazy fight. Crazy, crazy fight. But yeah, guys, good luck for the rest of the day. I'll see you all a little bit later, and I'll see you tomorrow. If it's your first time joining us, appreciate all the new subs. Sylvian, Mike, Griff, Tanvir. Appreciate all the new subs, guys. But yeah, if it's your first time here, I day trade live on stream every weekday morning. So every weekday, Mitch and I are here trading live. And so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you appreciate this content and you enjoy watching the stream and appreciate it, click the like button right now on this video. It does help support us. We appreciate any support we can get. So if you want to help support us, click the like button right now. And like I said, I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, guys, I'll see you for everybody in our class. We'll see you tonight. And if not, we'll see you tomorrow morning. So good luck. Be careful in this market, and have a good day, y'all. We'll see you all a little bit later. Appreciate the sub 12 and Alan. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good day, y'all. We'll see you all a little bit later.